Welcome to Money Talk. It is January, and that's usually the time my next guest comes on and gives us his options trade of the year. But he gave us that trade early when he came on our show late last year. It was IBM, so we're going to see how that has done so far. But don't worry if you missed that call. Phil is bringing us many more trading ideas. We're joined by Phil Davis. He is founder of philstockworld.com and PSW Investments, and he joins us from sunny, warm Fort Lauderdale. You know, I'm kind of grinning and baring my teeth when I say that when we're enduring what we're enduring here in Southern Ontario. But good to have you with us, Phil. Before we get into trading ideas, let's just talk a bit about the markets first. The Fed came out today. The markets seemed to like what the chairman had to say, patience, and the market, again, liked that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a stunning turnaround. I mean, a month ago, they were talking 4 hikes and reducing their balance sheet, and now they're talking no hikes. No real need to do any hikes anytime in the near future, and the balance sheet's fine the way it is. Don't worry about it. If you think about it, they're almost giving 1% to the market and $1 trillion less of bond sales. I mean, it's a hell of a gift to them.
It sure is. Now, let me ask you, how does that, I mean, they had a lot to do with some of the volatility going into the holidays. Things have, steadied out a little bit kind of thing after, a fairly deep sell-off and then a rebound. What's your take in terms of where the markets are right now, given what the Fed had to say and I guess some of the concerns we're seeing about China?
Oh, that's a lot of things. I mean, look, I think it worries me that the Fed is so terrified of anything bad happening to the economy. Like they did a little rate hike in December. The market completely freaked out. Not just about that, though. I mean, we have the Brexit, we have the trade talks, we have it's just this government shutdown. It's all insanity. It's not just the Fed, but they're trying to shoulder the burden. Now, the reason they're terrified, though, is because they've already blown everything. They've got a $5 trillion balance sheet. The country's $22 trillion in debt. They can't save us from another recession. So they can't afford to let it happen. And they'll pull out all the stops just to even stop us from dipping.
And do you think, you say they can't save us from a recession. Do you see that coming? Or do you think because the Fed's taken their foot off the gas, it actually is looking a lot better?
Well, sadly, I would have to say, and they're not going to take the foot off the gas. Like I said, they just gave us a 1% rate reduction over what it's supposed to be next year. Rates were supposed to go up 1% next year. They shaved a point off it. That's massive. Yeah. The change in attitude of the Fed is huge, and that's what's really scary, though. Why? What are they afraid of? And I think, unfortunately, I've said for a very long time, and I even said it in October, I said the Fed has one more big save left in them, and which is why we actually bought the crap out of the last correction when it hit 20%. That was our buy point. We jumped back in and started buying things. Now we're very aggressively bullish, but we're about to start pulling back on that because I'm not sure how much further this rally has to go.
I guess, we're going to get into trades in a couple minutes in terms of what you see. But again, you're feeling less bullish. You're starting to pull back a little bit. Again, for someone who's watching right now, what are your red flags? What you tell them to be careful about?
Well, the China thing, I'm not sure that the China trade deal is ever going to get worked out. And if it escalates, right now we're talking about a little bit of stuff, but Trump's talking about putting tariffs 25% on $500 billion worth of goods. China is going to fully retaliate the same way. The repercussions are going to spread around the world, and we'll plunge into a manufacturing recession around the world.
That's kind of depressing, plunging into a manufacturing recession.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, look, it's how many times have we seen this happen in history of trade wars? That's why we don't have trade wars anymore until this year, suddenly.